Welcome to Unwinding with Support Group, a mental health podcast by licensed professionals where we discuss mental health topics from a real world perspective, all while having a drink. So hang out, have some laughs, enjoy the ride, and maybe learn a bit. Episode of Unwinding with Support Group. Today we have Kelly, who is LMHC.
LPC.
One of them. They're the same. Just depends on what state you're in. They're the same. And Bree, who works in the mental health field. And as usual, I'm Marlene. I also have an LPC or an LMHC, depending on the state. They're the same. Oh, or an LCPC, because also that's the same thing.
I got one of those.
Again, state dependent. They all mean the
Yes.
same thing. Which is great. There's no continuity at all. But anyways, my beverage of choice today is a Captain Morgan with cherry Coke.
Nice.
Kelly, what do you got?
I have a margarita and some water.
Oh, margarita.
Nice balance.
Thank you.
And Bree, what you bring to the party?
Today I'm drinking Dr. Pepper.
Oh,
Very fancy.
Very fancy Dr. Pepper. Like it. All right. Our topic of conversation today, coping skills. And what really are they? You know, you hear it a lot. It's a word. People say it. Use your tools, get some skills, go cope. And then people tell you to go do breathing or journal or go for a walk. Or you could be like my psychiatrist and tell me to journal and go for a walk.
At the same time?
Well, she said them to do both of them. Like, that's not therapy 101, and I wouldn't have figured that out on my own. But hey, whatever.
Okay. I'm just picturing you like walking and journaling into your phone at the same time. Like
Now that, okay, see, that could be fun. You see this fucking squirrel? He's side-eyeing the fuck out of me.
I know the squirrel is following me right now, and it's not like increasing my paranoia.
The deer around this place are semi-domesticated, around my house, which is weird because I grew up in the country. So now I live I live in the suburbs. And so we have a herd of deer in the woods, strip of woods by my house, and they're semi-domesticated. And you're asking, what does semi-domesticated mean? And I'm going to tell you that it means they walk down the street and they don't move. It means that my children have almost hit them with their bikes because when they were littler, because they don't fucking move. You move.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Suburban life.
I grew up in the country-ish, for some parts of it, where deer run. They're like, okay, bye.
Yep.
Nope, not here. They're semi-gangster deer. They're just like, oh, you think you're gonna run me over with your car? Bring it, bitch.
Yep.
By the way, I ate all the bird seed out of your bird feeder. Just wanted to let you know. Thanks for dinner. Have a great day. Those are the deer we have. So that's what would end up in my journal. The fucking deer stalking me. But anyways, we're back to coping skills as we've already rambled. We're going to be on a great one today.
Probably.
All right. So coping skills, and what really are they? What does that mean? Who wants to take that, the first stab at it? Anybody? Bueller?
Me. I will.
All right, Kelly, what you got?
I don't have any.
That's even funnier.
Oh, coping skills, they vary honestly from person to person. I mean, we have the typical like breathing, journaling, taking a nice walk, but let's be honest. How many people really do those things? Some people do. And I'm not knocking on people who do those because that works for them. But that's the thing. What works for them? And what we're really looking for, I think, is coping skills that work for the individual. And some things don't work for everybody. Like for me, I'm not a journaler. Like m- my coping skill, my go-to coping skill is laying on the ground.
Floor time. Floor time is so important.
Right? Thank you. You too? Love
Oh
it.
yeah, gotta love me some good floor time.
Exactly. Like I tell people all the time, that is the closest to grounding that you can ever be because you're on the ground and you can feel it. It's tactile. Like if you have pets, then you have like pet lovins because they're running over to you unless they're cats and the cats are like, well, some cats maybe are like,
I would say unless they're breeze cats.
Right. Then they're like immediately like, oh my God, she's on the floor. This is our
right?
time.
Some cats are like dogs and they're like, hey, let's jump. But, that for me is like the biggest coping skill. But I think coping skills are individual or based on the individual and the industry, is that the wrong word? We have gotten to a point where we have thrown out certain things like confetti, like journaling and breathing and walking and journaling and
Listen to music.
yeah, breathe in the air. And these do work. Don't get me wrong, they really do for some people. But you got to be aware of, you got to read the room, yo. Read your room.
I agree. I love that you said the industry because I was like, I mean, yeah, it's actually a good word for it. Because I do feel like there's an industry side to mental health that nobody talks about because it's
Yep.
taboo. Shh, we don't talk about that. But there's also like that part bleeds into actual practice.
Yes.
And then it gets picked up on social media. And now everybody's like, oh my God, do you know what helped for me? I breathed in this. I stood on my head and I did this breathing exercise for 5 minutes and it changed my life. You should do it too.
Like on TikTok.
And TikTok.
All the coping skills on TikTok. Yes. That may work for some people and may not. I can't judge.
No, I don't. I'm just, that's where they end up like infiltrating society.
Absolutely. And some of them are really, really wild and I love them. And I'm like, I'm gonna try that one day. Like, but
For
that's
sure.
it does go from that to that. Yes.
Bree, what are your thoughts on coping skills?
I think I think they can be kind of whack because
That we're like, listen, everybody says get coping skills, and we start out with I have none, they're whack. We're on fucking great. I told you we were gonna do great today.
I
Right?
think I think sometimes it's not about coping. Like coping to me is important and sometimes and maybe when your emotions are at kind of a very high state you want to cope and you want to just get through that kind of that I don't know the peak of whatever you're going through but at some point coping skills to me start to become more of like it's too much distraction, right? It's getting away from the root problem, so sometimes I think they're a little whack and sometimes I think you have to focus on whatever is making you feel the way that you're feeling as opposed to just trying to get through it. Otherwise, you're going to spend your whole life just coping.
Oh, that's a
It's a really
great
solid
point.
point.
So, as much as I love me some coping skills, I'm always doing some sort of coping skill. I also know that I might be avoiding something.
No, preach. That's a great point.
Oh, no, that
Coping
makes
as
absolute sense.
avoidance.
So I think that you bring up a really solid point of like, I just need to get through this moment instead of I need to get through it. Like I
Yeah.
need to process it.
Now, I think coping skills alongside of processing are very important because that's where you start to get into the things that make you happy and the things that make you feel comfortable talking about the hard things. But I think they need to go in combination, and a lot of times they're separate. And that's what makes processing such shit because who just wants to sit there and talk about all the bad things that are going on and process through everything without having something to kind of help you through that process? That kind of makes sense.
100%. I agree with
Hmm.
that. Um, I will piggyback that actually. Uh, when I'm discussing coping skills with my clients, I I always start with what do you like to do for fun?
Hmm.
That's my like the question. And then they'll give me their whatever list of like, they like to camp and they like to go ride on roller coasters and they're like one-off things. And I'm like, great, but like more on a regular basis. Right. Let's talk about like daily things. What do you like to do for fun? Easily, because I'm not saying you can't go to concerts, but can we do that more consistently? Probably not. Right. Can we
Hmm.
go camping or hiking every day? Probably not. Unless you're Bree who lived in the mountains and she can go hiking wherever the fuck she wants.
I have to
But
be
not all
careful
of
now that I'm
us.
getting older because I did pull something in my leg the other day when I went
Oh
hiking.
shit. Oh shit.
Wait, what? Talking about getting older.
Like I pulled my hammy that I didn't even know I had a hammy.
No,
That reminds
literally.
me of that commercial from long ago. It's I can't pull a hammy. Um,
But it's like what do you enjoy doing?
yeah.
Because I will go to like what Bree said. It's like, what do you enjoy? You're much more willing to do your hobbies as coping skills and then
Mhm.
actually do them and like use them to decompress, to de-stress, to start incorporating them into your life on a consistent basis to help manage. And that's how I always use coping skills as an overall managing like the daily shit. It's not sure, here's some emergency break glass shit. Here's some in the moment you need some, and those are important. And we're about to step on my soapbox about the toolbox analogy and how much I fucking cannot stand that analogy. Put it in your toolbox. That irks my fucking nerves.
Why though? I'm just
Okay,
curious.
what's in a toolbox?
Am
How often do
Man
you use the
stuff.
fucking toolbox? Usually
he
what
said
ends up in a
man stuff.
toolbox, man stuff. What ends
Sorry.
up in the toolbox is like a hammer, one
Wrench,
screwdriver, some random
wrenches.
fucking screws, and some bullshit you never use because everything you actually use is on the fucking workbench.
That's fair. No, that's a fair point.
Toolbox is like seven random fucking screws and a ratchet you can't find ever because it's in the fucking true toolbox. And when you pull out the toolbox, you're like, I haven't seen this shit in 10 years.
That's a fair point. That's
That's
a good
why
point.
it irritates me. Because the tools you need never in the fucking toolbox. Unless you're a mechanic, and then they're always in the toolbox. Unless you're using them and then you're losing them.
Hmm.
It's always worked my nerves because of that. Toolboxes are just left on a shelf.
So what would you use?
I don't
What in
know. I haven't, you know what? I've tried cornucopia. That doesn't work.
especially because of the Hunger Games, because good Lord.
I tried the cornucopia. It doesn't work. It's funny to say, it doesn't work. Some point I've come up with like your utility belt.
Mm-hmm.
That's about as best I can get because there it's always on and it has all the things.
What
Um,
about box of stuff?
box of stuff. Go to your junk drawer, everybody.
Yes, yes. No, that's perfect because everybody has a junk drawer that we all go to for the things that we need. I think
You
that's
never
the
know what's in there.
no,
Then
but
you open the drawer, maybe not, but some shit's in there.
and that's where we go when we need things. So put
I
it in
think
your
that's
junk
it.
drawer.
Put it in
Yep,
the
put it
the
in your
junk
junk
drawer
drawer.
of coping.
Yes, this is where I go to when I need something to help me cope, is my junk drawer, my brain's junk drawer. And
I'm sorry. Listen, I just throw random shit in my brain's junk drawer, so now I have to empty that out to put in coping skills. This is a process.
it's a zip tie for my mental health. I've got to tie it all together. And sometimes, actually, I think that's a really good analogy because sometimes we really do have to zip tie this shit together.
And listen,
And
sometimes zip ties are in the junk drawer.
mhm, they're in mine. And when I am really having a rough time, some days it does feel like I am zip tying it together. And I do that by floor time. I do that. by breathing because breathing personally does work for me. I do that by hugging my dogs because that does personally work for me. And by honestly sometimes just staring at the wall and thinking, what even is going on right now? I'm confused and just pondering. Those are things that work for me. And I think that is what we've all been kind of talking about is, the coping skills as a whole need to actually be something that is for and by the individual.
Yeah, I say like a lot of times, if I told you the best coping skill for anger was going to go to the gym, but you fucking hate going to the gym, none of that is relevant.
No, you're not going to do it.
You're not going to do it. Then you're just going to feel bad that you're not doing it. So am I helping you? No, I'm just I'm compounding an issue.
Yeah.
So what helps you, right? And so I think ends up being like Bree said, in the moment we have like, okay, maybe I do need to breathe through this because my emotion is capped out, or maybe I need to stare at the wall right now because if I think one more thing, that's fucking just it. But then there's also like coping skills more in the form of what most of us consider self-care.
Hmm.
And I think those lines get blurred, is that using your hobbies as coping is self-care. Because
Yes.
if you're using it that way on a consistent basis, and I'm going to use Bree for the example right now. Bree right now is soldering glass. And I
Are
know
you
nobody can see her, but that's what she's
Yes.
doing.
really? That's great. What are you making? Side note. That's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bree makes glass artwork. This is what she does in her free time, side hobby, whatever. She's great at it. I keep telling her she should sell it. Side
I
note.
am selling this piece. This will be my first official piece.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh. I will commission something from you, just FYI. Anyway.
I have one that I want her to make, but it's Live Laugh Toaster Bath.
Toaster bath?
Yeah, Live Laugh Toaster
Live
Bath.
Laugh Toaster Bath. It's in the
Okay.
works.
I love
Be-
it.
because I can't stand Live Laugh Love.
Oh, no, can
But
yeah. Anyway.
and that's my morbid sense of humor right there. But
Yes,
yep,
100%.
welcome to my sense of humor. But anyways, we're back to this. But so that's what she's doing currently, and what she does often during our podcast. She loves it. It's her hobby. All art things are kind of like she does lots of different arty things, but it's what she loves to do, and it also helps her. It helps her to feel good, like lots
Hmm.
of things. So there's like a multitude of things that come into this. And so that's what I mean at the end of the day about coping skills as self-care, right? So like being able to like encompass all of that, I think is great. So and I think that part gets often lost in the conversation about coping skills, because then we get the conversation of self-care and everybody turns that into take a bath, wash
Oh,
your
God.
hair. I mean,
Do some
yeah,
yoga,
Bree, go get your
shavasana.
right. Bree, go get your nails done.
Oh yeah, that'll be a joy.
Right? Like for some people that is self-care. It's not for everybody.
Mhm.
It's also a lot more than that though, too.
Yes. And, I just want to take a minute because I think it's really important to touch on the culture of toxic positivity here.
Mm.
Um, because self-care and coping skills has taken a dramatic, like, skirt turn because of the toxic positivity. Words are hard for me tonight. Um, with the whole idea of no negative vibes and everything is positive. Do all of the things that make you feel good. Dip into, you know, natural waters, all of these things. And I'm not knocking it and I'm not trying to make fun of it. And I want to preface that. But what I do want to say is that with that comes humanity, and humanity has a side to it that is not always positive. And that is why we have this topic of how do we cope? How do we find ways to help ourselves feel some kind of semblance of balance? And to me, when we're talking about coping skills, it's, you know, not always about coping, it's about finding a balance. It's about finding our ground again and learning to stand on a foundation despite the pain that we're in. And we need those negative vibes in order to be able to experience the positive vibes. So, this idea of toxic positivity really kind of throws this monkey wrench into learning how to actually experience, I personally think, and incorporate coping skills into your life because you're already doing them. And it's like, oh, I already do this. I do, yoga, I do breathing, I do all of this stuff. It's not working. Okay.
Yeah.
I think there really is a big expectation that when you're doing this coping skill, whatever coping skill that looks like for you, that it is just going to make you feel better.
Yes.
And I think that it is really important to take a step back and realize that sometimes it's going to take a little bit more than just breathing sometimes. And that's okay. And that's
Yes.
okay that sometimes it's not working and sometimes you need a little bit more time or you need to switch it up a little bit. Maybe the thing that normally helps you on any other given day is really just not doing shit for you today. And that's okay. Kind of finding a good balance between what works and what doesn't, and utilizing your junk drawer to its fullest capacity.
Amen.
And I would agree. I also think, right, like there's that part of if I'm not doing it right, I must be doing it wrong. And
Mhm.
it's not black and white. Um, and if it doesn't work immediate, because we are a society that's built on immediate gratification, that instant dopamine burst. If it doesn't work right away, clearly it's not the skill for me, or I'm doing it wrong, depending on what other thoughts are going on inside of you, what else you're working with, right? And the
Mhm.
urge to abandon it. And it might just be like, I don't know, it's the first time you've ever used it, or the third time, and maybe some practice might help. Or maybe it needs to be tweaked. Maybe it needs to be adjusted. Maybe it isn't the skill for you, and that's okay too. But the idea that coping skills are the fix and that they're perfect and they're always going to be perfect, and right, like that's just not true, because that's not true of the human condition. Your
No.
emotions are volatile, and I don't mean like in explosive ways. I just mean they change, right? They move around. They're sometimes situational, they're sometimes like mood dependent. Like there's a lot of things that happen to go into what you think and feel and how you're going into it. And that's before I hit on anything that's diagnosable. Like that's just a
Yeah.
normal, everyday, regular, like non-diagnosed human walking around. So like we and add in on mental health diagnosis, and there's a slew of other shit that just gets coupled in there.
You know, one of the best random coping skills that I've ever had was face planting onto my bed and just like kicking and screaming into my bed. I felt so much better after that. And it was just after a bad day.
Okay, so all right, so we will all agree that the three of us know that when you feel depressed, the only way to get through depression is to get through it. You got to do shit, right? The
Hmm.
dumbest thing about depression is you don't want to do shit, but the only way to get out of depression is to do shit,
Unfortunately, yes.
right? Okay, so what's the problem with that? You have no motivation.
Yep.
You just want a fucking blanket burrito. You just are like, fuck you, fuck that, and fuck off. Um, so what I usually end up telling clients is do one more thing than what you've normally been doing. The goal is not to enjoy it. The goal is to do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it takes you 7 hours, 7 minutes, whatever. The goal is to do it. We don't care how you feel about it. You just do it. Right.
Hmm.
And this is why I brought this up, because you reminded me of this. And you can fucking adult temper tantrum through the whole motherfucker. because the goal is that you do it. Nobody said you had to like it.
No.
You can be like, this is the dumbest motherfucking shit I gotta do. This is fucking bullshit. Why I gotta wash these goddamn dishes? Ugh. Fuck. Fold the towels? Stupid. Ugh. Sweep the floor? Dumb.
Yeah.
And the amount of cathartic release you get from just bitching about
Uh-huh.
doing a random task that you don't want to do because you feel depressed, because you're unmotivated, it's actually surprisingly just it just helps. And most of my clients are shocked by that fact. They're like, I really just temper tantrum the whole time and felt better. Yeah,
Oh,
because
100%.
you didn't want to do it, but you did it. That's that's why, like when you said that, that's I say that on a regular basis, Kelly. Temper tantrum through it. Who's stopping you?
We're all just overgrown children. Like, I fully 100% tell people all the time, I am not an adult. I am just an overgrown child trying to be an adult, and I'm doing the best that I can with what I've got, and I think that we all are, and that fits. It really does. I I have my my temper tantrums when I need to. And I usually try to keep those to, myself so that I don't involve other people and I'm not temper tantruming on, like my partner or so he's not like, getting the brunt of it. But um he does laugh at me though. He's one of those where he puts his hand he would not that he has, but in cartoons, he's one of those people who would put his hand on my head and be like,
And you're just like running, trying to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And he'd just be like laughing at me. That has not happened.
Okay,
Just
but if
for
it does,
people,
if it
for
does, can I get
clarity.
video?
Yeah, right.
Yes,
I would need to see that immediately.
Okay,
absolutely.
listen,
And
if that ever happens, please, Rob, I would like video evidence for my own purposes, please.
he would come back here and declare to you that he would give you video evidence of that. But never would that happen. But
I love that Bree and I were both like, yes, please, we would like to see it.
um,
Immediately, we were both like, yep, that was, can we make it happen? How do we go about this now?
I don't know, but actually now I'm gonna film that for you all just on purpose, just on a fake, so that you could have it and laugh. And if we ever start a TikTok for this podcast, we'll post it and it will be funny. But
It would be
um,
funny.
like I really think that we forget that we are just deep down inside still children trying to figure our way around these big emotions that we feel. And to that end, I kind of want to segue just for a second, like pivot.
Pivot. Oh, Jesus, God, we're fucking millennials.
I know, right?
We all grew up watching Friends, apparently.
To what they call negative or negatively perceived coping
Oh,
mechanisms, because those do exist.
that's a
And
good idea. We should cover those.
those are the ones that we do that actually they help us, air quote, because they do in regard like they give us relief, but they also cause us damage in the long run, like addiction, uh self-harm, um any kind of like self-destructive behaviors, things of that sort.
I'm just going to expand on the addiction because most people automatically think drugs or substance,
Mm-hmm.
like drugs or alcohol. Um, but I want to add in gambling.
Yes.
I want to add in sex. I want to add in porn. Like these are all also part of the addiction family. And with the growing expansion of legalized gambling and it being accessible on your phone, the
Oh
amount
yeah.
of that being problematic in our society is growing exponentially. And recognizing how much that is adding in so many different things there is what you're talking about with like the coping part that generally pieces, and now we're just tapping buttons on our phone,
Mm-hmm.
which we've all been trained to do. So
Oh,
there's like multiple different things happening that are feeding that at an exponential rate. Um, so just recognizing that is like a significantly growing problem with every state now legalizing sports betting and other gambling on your phone. So
and
I just wanted to bring that
commercials,
up.
commercials that actually encourage it.
Mm.
Mhm.
Oh, my favorite sports stadiums endorsed by like FanDuel.
Hmm.
This sporting event is brought to you by DraftKings.
I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, great, cool, thanks. I
I'm
mean,
actually,
alcoholics deal with that too because, like, football specifically, there's like 752 alcohol commercials. I know it happens a lot in other sports, but we're wrapping up football season this Sunday. So,
oh yeah, Rob's heartbroken. I think he's gonna have a meltdown, but
oh, I'm so sad for him.
I'm not.
I will be very happy.
So will I, bless his heart. But no, I'm actually working with someone who is in recovery from gambling addiction, and it's very it I've worked with a lot of addiction,
Mhm.
and it's very, very eye-opening because it's as real as any other addiction. It's real as food addiction. It's as real as substance, as sex, as porn, as I honestly like I think that anything that I mean you can become addicted to just about anything at this point in time, I think.
Yeah,
And
video
other
games are a big thing for people too.
mhm. Binge watching stuff on TV to where
Yeah.
you don't want to work or eat or use the bathroom. And a lot of this stuff is considered to be coping skills because we don't want to deal with what is going on in our lives. It's an escapism. And I want to direct to a point to something called maladaptive daydreaming because that is also a way of escapism. People love to maladaptive a daydream because it provides an alternative reality for them to not have to deal with what's going on in their lives. And all of these are just different coping mechanisms that take them away from the reality of what's going on. When what is actually helpful is finding ways to sit with what you're afraid of and, for lack of a cliche term, cope with it. But what we're really saying is learn how to live with it and manage it and accept it and come to terms with it, not let it go or all of those other cliche terms, but I don't know, make whatever that means to you, make peace with it,
Yeah.
whatever it means to you.
I think those are good ones to like bring up. Self-harm is a big one.
Yes.
Right. And honestly, in some form or other, all of the ones we discussed are a form of self-harm in different ways. But we're specifically talking about like cutting, self-injurious behavior, things like that. And recognizing that that is the release. That is the release.
Hmm.
Instead of dealing with the intense emotion, and dealing with it in healthier ways. And it is a healthier way to find other ways to deal with that. And I say deal because it is dealing, regardless whether you do it in healthy ways or unhealthy ways, you're still dealing. It's
Yeah.
just about short term versus long term. What kind of pain are you dealing with? And which way you go. And it's not going to stop the pain immediately, regardless of the way you go. And I think that's also important to know.
Yes.
Um, I think it's the problem. There's problems with all of the we'll say all of the addictive disorders that we talked about all kind of under one um is the stigma, the judgment, the guilt, the shame that they all bring to like the guilt and the shame that comes with them, but the stigma associated with it, regardless of what it is, because of that. And that's, I felt like we were making progress there in society, and well, I don't feel like we're doing that anymore. Um, and then like the self-injurious behavior, that is just often misunderstood, and
I agree.
that is also problematic. And so recognizing that self-injurious behavior doesn't always mean suicide, and not everybody understands that nor can tell the difference. And though that is also harmful to not be able to tell the difference or know the difference.
I think ultimately there is, I think self-preservation is innate in us, and we will do as humans what we can in order to kind of alleviate that pain until we are taught better ways. And that's where we come in for a lot of people. That's our place.
Or
So,
TikTok.
or TikTok, exactly. You know, like that's cool too. Not knocking that. Some of those things, you know what? I may make some videos of me trying some of those stuff. I'm just saying. But like
Yes.
what? Did she
I
say
said,
yes?
I said yes. That's a new line of video.
Standing on my head. Um,
Stand on my head, breathing upside down.
I mean, it may work though, like legit, because I used to teach yoga at a substance abuse treatment facility, and I would have everybody like wall stand. Um, but like, I think that until we learn different things, we're gonna do what seems easiest. What is water flows, truly, water flows through the easiest path. That is just how nature works. It's not going to flow through the hardest path, it's going to flow through the easiest path. And that's the way that I think coping works. And we have to, as humans, help people learn that sometimes the harder way is the better way. The like, you mentioned like we go for like short term, we went like short term versus long term. We have to teach them that, delayed gratification is worth it as opposed to right now.
Yeah, sure.
And that's part of coping.
And giving yourself grace as well, because learning how to get to that point of being comfortable with delayed gratification is very difficult, and it's messy, and it's a road that's not going to look the exact same for every person that's going down it. So if you're struggling with something like self-harm or addiction or whatever that may look like in your life, one of these not so healthy coping skills, the path to kind of releasing some of those is going to be difficult, and it's going to be hard, but in the end, it usually is worth it because you start to find ways to better enjoy your life instead of having these things that are kind of holding you down. Because even in a lot of ways that we don't think they are, these things do hold us back in a way. And letting go of some of those things and replacing it with healthier options it's never going to be easy.
No, you're 100% correct.
Yeah. But I think, and as in anything in addressing like mental health, none of it's easy.
Mm-mm.
And if anybody has ever told you that along your journey, I have news for you. They have lied. Um, uh, it's not never been easy. It won't be easy. Are there some days that are better than others in addressing mental health struggle? Sure. Doesn't mean it's all, shit. But it's difficult. And that is the part to know. But I think most people do know that, and that's why not everybody does it. And that's also something to know.
Mhm.
Uh, so do we have final thoughts? Because if on this, because I do have a question for both of you.
Oh,
All right. Favorite coping skills, not ones that work best necessarily for you, but favorite coping skills.
Hillbilly Rage Room.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say that.
what was that?
Hillbilly Rage Room?
Hillbilly?
Hillbilly, yes.
You're talking to a hillbilly right here. Why is it called a hillbilly rage room? Love it.
Well, they have these fancy rage rooms that cost like $100 to get into, and you only get like 30 minutes, and then you're kind of on video camera a lot of times. So it's kind of like if you're me, you get really nervous about that, and then you can't really, let your full emotions out. So I like to partake in Hillbilly Rage Room, which often includes blowing things up or otherwise destroying
Yes.
things, because I am lucky enough to be in an environment in which I can do those things. But if you just go to your local, your local thrift store, your dollar store, and you get some glasses that no one else is going to buy anyways, you can use those instead of these expensive rage rooms. And you can let your anger out that way. Because if you're like me, you have a really hard time getting anger out because it's just something that I was never really taught how to deal with at a young age. So I'm learning as I get older, and it can be very helpful. And as long as you're partaking in it safely and appropriately, it can be very beneficial as well.
This is why I love you.
I knew that was coming from her because
Hellbilly for life, Appalachia for life,
uh,
Southwest Virginia, repping all the way, Old Dominion. Um, that being said, mine is honestly laying on the ground.
Floor time. Love
Floor
it.
time. Floor time all the way. And um, truth be told, this is gonna sound maybe a little weird, but like chosen dissociation, not like I
mm,
am dissociating,
you're
like,
spacing out.
yeah, just like I'm doing it on purpose. I'm just staring at the wall, like I've had enough of today. I'm just gonna stare at the cracks in the wall. And you know how some ceilings have popcorn? I
Mm.
have made entire maps out of ceilings, and I have made stories out of those maps.
Listen, the way Bree looked straight up at her ceilings when you said that was fucking amazing.
I was trying to picture what Kelly would picture.
And she was like, "Oh, do you get stars and stripes and
No,
you get mountains? Are you
I'm
going on
talking
trips
like
and valleys? Like, what's going on?"
elves and like orcs and all of that, like battles. Like I go deep, I go hard. Like, I
She's got the whole Lord of the Rings on her ceiling.
absolutely. I am like out of, I am done. When I am done, I am done. And I'm like, okay, so we just lost the battle of, you know,
Well, Battle for Mordor was fought over here, and
now I feel better.
oh, that's fabulous, actually. Oh, that's fantastic.
What's yours?
Um, well, my favorite ones are honestly like, well, for me, are just like playing with my dogs, but that's like just
Yeah.
because they just don't care. Or my cats. Either way, they're just accepting of love. So it doesn't matter how I feel or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, that's why pets are great. They don't ask much of you. Uh, and after a day of talking, sometimes I don't ever want to speak another word to another person ever in my life.
And
Um, so that helps. But I would say I'm going to say a favorite coping skill that I will never do because this just is not my fucking cup of tea. Um, is people who actually enjoy like geocaching
that's interesting.
because I know what it is and I think it's cool, but I'm never doing it because I'd have to hike a lot and like I just isn't doing it. I think it's super cool. It's like a hobby and a coping skill, and people do it a lot because you can do it all over in urban areas and suburban areas in the middle of fucking nowhere, and they do it, and I think it's fucking cool, but it's not me. My joke is always if you ever see me run, don't ask questions, just run with me. Just run in the same direction. Just
Oh
if you
Lord,
ask
yeah.
questions, just go.
If somebody runs, I'm running too.
Right? Like don't stop and be like, what are you running for? Just go. So if you
No,
see me running, just fucking go.
my PTSD
Question.
kicks in. I'm out.
Just don't ask
I
questions.
can't relate. If you see me running, stop me. Something is wrong with me. Something
All
bad
right.
has happened to me and I need help.
Okay. Two separate things. If you see me running, don't ask questions, run with me. Something bad is occurring. If you see
Uh-huh.
Bree running, stop her. Something bad is occurring.
If you see me running, it could be a marathon.
So don't stop Kelly either.
Yes, just let me run. Just let me be Forrest. I'm just running. And then if I stop, just ask me, why did you stop? And I'll be like, I just felt like it. It's fine.
But other than that, I like things like honestly, I like things that are it depends on my mood. I like things that can be stimulating, so which will be like I read,
Hmm.
or things that are not, and soothing and repetitive, so like putting together Legos.
I love Legos.
Because there is something about the repetition of
Yes.
putting them together that is super calming and super soothing, and just a way of like I can put together something in Legos in my living room while my family is there and we're spending time together, but I don't have to be verbal because again,
Yes.
sometimes at the end of the day, I don't have a lot left to be verbal about other than, hey, you tell me about your day and I'm just going to be here.
Yes. No. And I think that's a really good way to kind of wrap up this because coping skills for therapists and people who talk a lot as a profession often could be nonverbal. And our families have to kind of adjust to that. Um, Rob is really good about that with me too. Um, a lot of times we spend time, he's the only person that I'll want to really verbally talk to, but I don't actually have to verbally talk to him. I can use hand signals that make no sense, and the people that are listening or can't see the hand signals that I'm making, and maybe one day we'll have a YouTube and they'll laugh at me. But, you know, those things are very real. When you spend your day talking, it expends a lot of energy and it takes a lot out of you. So that takes a lot of you from your family.
I think it's also like my brain is mush after a full day of therapy.
Yes.
Um, and it takes me a while to be able to form coherent thoughts again.
Hmm. Oh,
Otherwise,
100%.
it comes out like food now, sleep.
I,
I feel very caveman like. Um, I got fire, water, fish.
that's why I have hand signals. I'm like the thing, the
Listen,
thing.
and what words I do have, it's not helpful because premenopause also gives you brain fog. So I remember like every third word. It's fucking amazing. So I'm like food, water, thing that goes on plate because I can't remember the word for food all of a sudden. I can't, fuck. It's a great time.
We're surviving. It's great. It's fantastic.
It's like, it's like I had a really great thought and I don't know what it was anymore. It's gone. It's my life on a regular basis now.
Oh, life.
Good.
It's bitter.
And Bree comes home and does glass.
I,
Yes.
I spend my time trying to keep my pit bull from panicking.
All right. So is this one of those moments where you got an emotional support dog who needs an emotional support dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all three of my cats. They really are the ones who need the emotional support human.
Right? Love them. Aw.
Her
Where
cats
are
are
they?
great.
Are they with
They're
you?
sleeping. There's one right here, and
I
then
love
one
that.
right here, and then
They're
the other
never far.
one is sitting all the way over there on a
You,
stool.
you
Never
know,
far.
we're going to get to a point where people are going to be like, we want a YouTube, like, New
I
Heights
was
or
thinking about
something.
it for like season 3.
Yeah, it's going to
I was thinking
happen.
about it.
And they're going to be like, we want to see you all in real time.
And Bree's gonna be like, see it all my cats?
Yeah.
These are all my cats.
Yeah.
As her cats routinely just make appearances, so it's fine.
They do. They love the camera.
They are
Lan-
not camera shy, those
No,
cats.
they are not.
They're like,
Lanigan
this is
has
my
his
time.
moment. He has his moments, but
So that's okay. I got a Rottweiler German Shepherd. She's a big ass fucking baby.
The big ones always are.
Biggest fucking baby.
Lord,
She
amen.
will start shit with everybody in this house, and the minute they retaliate, she whimpers like they did something horrible to her, and comes flying to jump in my lap, like, Mom, 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 they're mean to me.
No coping skills
Like,
whatsoever.
girl, you started
None.
shit.
Don't start no shit, won't be no shit.
Right, you walked around and stole all their fucking toys and shit. No wonder they're pissed. And she was like, but they were all mine.
No coping skills whatsoever.
She got none. She's a
None.
big ass baby.
Lanigan doesn't either. His coping skill is climbing under a blanket with me.
So
A good coping skill, though.
I mean, that's let's hide away from the world. I feel like that's appropriate. I can get down with that sometimes. Oh, I just want to hide away from it. It's fine. La la la, can't hear you.
I know. Yeah, same. That's me this week. I don't even want to work this week. Not gonna lie. But it's a full moon week, so to be fair, that's fair.
Also, next week there's a Friday the 13th.
Yes, there is.
And because of the way February is dated, there will also be a Friday the 13th in March.
Double whammy.
Double whammy. So, but on this fine note, this I think is a good place for us to wrap up. Reminding everybody there will be 2 back-to-back Friday the 13th. So beware. Or not. I don't know, whatever. But next week we are going to talk about types of treatment: inpatient, PHP, IOP, outpatient, what the fuck all that means, and what to expect if you're going to go to any of those. But as usual, we appreciate you hanging out for whatever the fuck just occurred. Like, share, pass it along, follow, give us a comment, let us know why you keep showing up. It's fine. We like to know these things. You just think we're unhinged and you're laughing at us? That's fair. We'd like to know that too. But really, we appreciate you showing up as usual. And ladies, I appreciate you hanging out with me again tonight.
Always.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Unwinding with Support Group. Follow us on Substack. Give us a like, a follow. Give us a comment. Tell us what you hated, what you like, what you want us to talk about next. Let everybody know where they can find us too. But thanks for hanging out with us once again.